This episode of Ties I Help is brought to you by Netflix. What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be doing a review and giveaway of the new Kindle Fire. So I'm going to be covering all aspects of the Kindle Fire, giving my thoughts on it, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys my Kindle Fire, well, at least one of you. So first off, the main thing with the Kindle Fire is $200. It is a great price point for the device it is. I think it's a great competitor to the iPad. I know a lot of people say you can't compare the two. In my opinion, you can. They're both tablets. You're both wanting the same thing out of them. I'm not going to be doing that in this video, but if you want to see a comparison, or at least my comparison of the two, you can go check out my video on that, and I'll give you guys a link in the description, as well as the other videos I've done on the Kindle Fire. But yeah, the Kindle Fire is a lower end tablet that is aimed at people who don't want to pay $500 for an iPad. But let's go over everything in it to see if that is the case. So first off, let's talk design and specs. So this thing is heavier and thicker than I wanted it to be, but at the same time, it does feel pretty sturdy and durable. For $200, I think they got a good build and design on it, but at the same time, they could have made this thing thinner and lighter for $200 at the same price. Now this thing is kind of backwards from what we're used to. On the top of the device is two speakers, which actually sound really good. They put out some good sound quality. And then on the bottom of the device is the power button, which is really confusing. Don't know why they did that. I didn't really have too many problems hitting the power button while I was using it. Sometimes I did if I was sitting on my desk like standing up. That's pretty much the only time I did it. And then right beside that is the micro USB cable, as well as the 3.5mm headphone jack. This thing is 7.5 inches long with a 7-inch touchscreen. I don't really have anything to say bad about the quality of the screen and how it looks. It looks pretty good. I don't really have any complaints. Now, one thing that really annoyed me is it doesn't have physical volume buttons, so I actually have to go into settings and turn this thing down, which is really annoying if you open up an app and it starts playing really loud, or a movie or something really loud and you want to turn it down really quick. The Kindle Fire comes with 8 GB of flash storage, which I think after you get everything installed, it's like 6.5. Which is plenty enough for me, and I think good for this device, because this device is mainly based on the cloud and streaming everything, so I don't feel like you need a lot of storage on this device. It also has a dual core processor, which is supposed to make this thing fast, but we'll get to that later. Battery life for me has been really good. They advertise that you'll get 7.5 to 8 hours depending on what you're doing. And I've only charged my Kindle Fire a few times since I've had it, and it's still got pretty much full battery on it. So it's doing pretty good as far as battery. I haven't had any issues or complaints with that. Next up, let's talk about the OS and the software and apps and all that kind of stuff. So the Kindle Fire is actually an Android-based tablet running Android 2.3 Gingerbread, but it has Amazon's skin over it, which gives it their whole new look on it. It doesn't even feel like an Android tablet to me. At the top of the device, you've got the search bar where you can search the device, or you can search the web, which is pretty nice. I do like that little feature and having that always on the home screen. Right below that is the buttons to newsstand, books, music, video, docs, apps, and web. And then below that is all the recent things you've opened, such as websites, or books, or documents, or movies. It basically just shows everything in a cover flow style layout of icons and web pages, stuff like that. I personally don't like this because I can't figure out a way to remove these, so it pretty much stays there. I don't know how long it's going to stay there for. Pretty much everything I've done, or everything I've done on the Kindle Fire since I got it, is still there if you scroll all the way to the right. I do like the layout. It does kind of feel lag scrolling back and forth to me, but it is pretty smooth at the same time. It just kind of lags a little bit behind my finger when I'm scrolling back and forth. And you can tap on any of these, open them up, but as you see, there is a very big lag when the applications open up. Now, if you want to, you can actually tap and hold down on any of these icons and it will add it to your favorites, which is down here below that. And this is basically where you just give quick access to any of the icons or apps you use most. All the icons are different sizes. As you see here on the Evernote icon, it actually has white around it, so none of these are like polished icons like you would get on iOS or Android. Not my personal favorite, and I just don't like the look of it. I hate that everything's different sizes. I don't like really scrolling through all this stuff, and I don't really like how the favorites are because you have to scroll up and down to see them. I want them to be right forefront so I can just tap instantly and go to whatever I want to go to. Up in the top left, if you swipe down, is the Android-like notification center where it basically just gives you your notifications, and then up in the top right corner is the settings button. It's really small and it'll give you access to lock it from portrait and landscape mode, volume, brightness, Wi-Fi, sync, which will actually sync up your device, make sure everything is up to date. And then there's a more button where it actually just show you all of your settings, your account, your sounds, display, security, applications, daytime. There's a ton of different little things here where you can change all of your settings for everything. The keyboard on this thing, I thought I really liked it first, but after I used it for a while, it was really annoying. It feels really cramped, and it's really laggy. When I tap something, it feels like a whole second or two before it actually like registers that I tapped that. I know I'm complaining about a second, but compared to the other tablets out there, even other Android tablets, this is really slow. But I feel like this whole lagginess and delay times when you're trying to do stuff could be fixed with just a simple software update. Here's a really good example of the lag. If you turn it from portrait to landscape, you can just see how much of a delay there is for it to switch over, which is very annoying and definitely needs to be fixed. Alright, next up, let's talk apps, and let's actually specifically talk about the apps from the App Store. Now, this is actually Amazon's App Store. This is not Android's App Store. There are ways to get Android's App Store on there. Not going to cover in this video, but let's actually take a look at these apps. You can see all of the apps that I have installed. You can switch between the cloud or actually the ones that are installed on the device, and that's pretty cool that you can install apps in the cloud so you don't have to have them taking up space on your device itself. Now, up in the top right is the store button where you can go to see Amazon's App Store and download all the apps from there. I think I heard from somebody that there's 20,000 apps in the Amazon App Store. I'm not 100% on that, but compared to some of the other app stores, even Android's, that's really lacking, and definitely compared to Apple's, that's lacking. But you will get most of the popular applications, Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, especially if you're looking for games. There's most of the popular ones are in there. Plants vs. Zombies, I think I've seen. So you should get some pretty good games with this thing. But at the same time, I do like see that there's apps lacking just because I can't find a basic little Twitter application that I like. And then there's also apps like the Facebook app where it's just like a web clip to the website m.facebook.com, which is terrible in my opinion. So I don't know why they don't have stuff like that. Although it is laggy when you're opening an app, something like games play really well once it's open. Does take a little bit to get it open all the way, but once it does, the games play really nice. I haven't seen any really lagginess in that. Sometimes I do have some issues, like when I'm trying to tap on something, for instance, in the app Angry Birds, and it just won't recognize that I'm trying to tap on it. It thinks I'm trying to scroll, which gets really annoying. But overall, playing games on this thing is pretty nice, and you should be satisfied with the speed of it. If you're looking for Microsoft apps like Microsoft Office, you can't get it on this thing. So if you're looking for word processing and stuff like that on this thing, it's not going to suit you very well because it doesn't really have it, at least as of right now. But there is all the categories of apps and tons of apps in each. Now, and there's another thing that I really like is the refine button, which is where you can like search through the App Store and refine exactly what you want to look for by relevance or new release or actually the average customer review and even the price. So overall, compared to the others out there, Amazon's App Store is lacking, but you will still get a pretty good variety of apps. Next up, let's talk about the web browser, which is supposed to be a big selling point of the Kindle Fire because of its speed. Now, personally, in my test, I haven't really noticed any speed differences compared to my iPhone or iPad, and actually in some cases it was actually slower. The reason it's supposed to be faster is because it's using a new technology they're using called Silk, which is supposed to basically load everything on their servers and save you some of the load so it loads up faster. For me, hasn't done that. But it is just your basic browser. You got tab browsing, you got bookmarks and settings, you can search the page for keywords, you get downloads, sharing, and history. And to browse around the web pages, you can pinch to zoom in or out, and then you can basically just drag your finger around to scroll around wherever you want to, and also double tap if you want to zoom in on something or zoom out. Now, one cool thing about this is it actually has Flash in the web browser, which I don't know if you've heard the news, but this is probably going to be one of the last devices with Flash on mobile. But it does a pretty good job at Flash. Like, there's not too many glitches or mess ups in it. Now, it does do YouTube videos good. That's the best thing that I found it for. You can pause and play it pretty fine, and it works. I don't know how well you could really play games on this thing with Flash. That's definitely not going to work well. But seeing as how laggy this device is, it does a pretty good job playing Flash video. Now, me personally, I don't like this web browser. I don't like the layout of it. I feel like everything's too small. It's too laggy for me. Even just pinching into zoom or double tapping into zoom is just too laggy. I can't use this thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't like tablets and browsing on them. But yeah, if you're wanting this thing for web browsing, at least in my case, I cannot use this thing for web browsing. I've tried a couple times and it just gets frustrating for me. Now let's talk about books and magazines, which is a big selling point of this thing. It is a Kindle, and that's probably what most people are going to be buying this thing for, is to read their books and their magazines. As far as books, this thing looks great. It's obviously not e-ink, which is a lot more eye-friendly to stare at for hours, but I did start reading The Hunger Games on it, which is a good book, by the way, and it didn't hurt my eyes really at all. I like the kind of like color tint to it. It's kind of like a whitish gray, and it does a pretty good job. Doesn't hurt my eyes. Now, one thing I did have a problem with is it is kind of even laggy just switching through the pages, which that should not be laggy. It doesn't look amazing, but it works. So if you're switching from a previous Kindle with e-ink to this, you may not be able to get used to it because it is a screen rather than e-ink. So take that into account. Now, a cool thing if you buy the Kindle Fire is you'll actually get one free ebook a month, and there's no due dates on this. I think once you return it back, as long as it's been a month since you got the last one, you can get another one. They refer to it as borrowing, so I don't know why they would make you return it, but whatever, you get a free ebook every month. You can't complain. And then obviously you have a big choice of ebooks you can download and buy to read on your device, obviously, because they have the previous Kindles, which gives them a large selection of titles for you to read. Another good thing about getting ebooks from Amazon is that you can actually use this anywhere. If you have the iPhone or iPad, you can download the Kindle app and you can read them there. And I think this has Whisper Sync, which will actually let you pick up where you left off reading on another device, so that way you don't lose your spot. Magazines on the Kindle Fire look really nice. It fits the screen very well, which makes it look really good. There's a wide variety to choose from in the Kindle Fire store for magazines. You can subscribe monthly for a cheaper price, or you can just buy the current issue for a little bit more, but if you did the monthly, you'll obviously save some money. But it looks good, and there is a wide selection of magazines. I probably use Documents the least out of all the features on the Kindle Fire, but how it works is it actually gives you an email address where you can send your documents to, that way you can view them on your device. It doesn't have Microsoft Office or any Microsoft apps for word processing, stuff like that, so if you need that, you're kind of out of luck, but you can look at your documents and stuff on the Kindle Fire. And now let's talk about video on the Kindle Fire, which is probably where I think they succeed the most in the Kindle Fire. If you're an Amazon Prime user, which if you don't know what that is, you pay $80 a year. On Amazon.com you get like free 2-day shipping, and then you get access to all of their instant streaming. And the Kindle Fire is no exception to that. You get all of the instant streaming stuff on the Kindle Fire, so you can watch it instantly when you want to. It's kind of like Netflix. It doesn't have a lot of new stuff, but if you want that new stuff, you can also buy it in the Amazon store here, stream it immediately, download it, or rent it even. Lots of different content, and it works pretty good. The quality looks good. They start playing fast, and then also if you want to, you can even get Netflix or Hulu Plus on this device from the Amazon App Store. So it's not lacking in video content. I think it does a great job on video. And it also has the Whisper Sync in video, where if you start watching it on your Kindle Fire and you want to pick it up on your computer where you left off, you can do that. And finally, let's cover music. Obviously, you're going to get a large selection of music because this is Amazon. They have a large selection. And a good thing about buying it from Amazon is you can store them in the cloud, so that way you don't take up space on your device. And then you can also store them on your device, so in case you're not around a Wi-Fi network. And of course, you can make playlists and browse through songs and artists and albums, stuff like that. Now, personally, me, I don't want to listen to my music on a Kindle Fire just because I would rather do it on an iPod, so it fits in my pocket. I don't want to have to carry this thing around if I want to listen to music in my headphones. In the music store, you can go ahead and find all the music you want to download. You can even preview it for a few seconds. You can buy individual songs, or you can buy full albums and then play it right on your device. So in music, they do a great job just because of how wide the selection is that Amazon offers. Now, before we wrap up this video, let's take one last look at our sponsor, Netflix. With over 23 million members, Netflix is the world's largest subscription service, instantly streaming movies and TV episodes over the internet. Members can instantly watch thousands of titles on a vast array of devices, including the iPhone, iPad, Xbox, PS3, Wii, Apple TV, and more. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you can watch as many movies and shows as you want, anytime you want, and there are no late fees or due dates. For a limited time, as a new member and a Tyza Help viewer, you can get a free trial membership. Go to netflix.com/Ty and sign up now. Make sure to use that URL so they know that I sent you. And finally, let's take a look back, and I'll give you my thoughts on the Kindle Fire. So in my opinion, Amazon did exactly what everybody's saying it's made for. It's a a $200 low-end tablet for people who don't want to spend $500 on an iPad and get pretty much the same thing, just kind of a dumbed down version. That's just my opinion, don't hate me. I think the Kindle Fire is a content consumption device, meaning that you want to consume content like videos and music and movies and email, web browsing, stuff like that. Whereas the iPad, you get a little bit more freedom. You can do a little bit more content creation like blogging or typing and stuff like, I mean, I know you can type on this thing, but I don't know, you just get a little more freedom with the iPad. And also the user interface on this thing, in my opinion, is terrible. I liked it sort of at first. I was kind of sketchy about it, and then after I used it for a while, I hate it. I can still use it. It just feels like it's a cheap user interface compared to the iPad. Again, I do like when you open this thing up out of the box, it's set up with your Amazon account, but at the same time it's kind of bad because I want to go in here and browse through the Amazon app and basically just buy everything from the store, which I think that's kind of one of the reasons they made this. It's basically a way for you to portably browse the Amazon store, and they did a great job at it. Again, the overall lag in this thing is really annoying to me. It may not be as annoying to you. I guess I'm just used to the snappiness of my iPad 2, but again, I feel like this could be something that they could fix in a simple software update, or at least I hope that. So I think the Kindle Fire is aimed at people who owned a Kindle previously and just kind of want more out of their device, and I think this is a great solution for that. And then also people who want a tablet but don't want to spend $500 on an iPad to really find out if they want one. So this is kind of an alternate solution. It's not going to give you something in like an experience like an iPad would, but you are going to get most of the same content and videos and stuff like that. So $200 versus a better user experience paying $300 more, really up to you to decide on that. If you're trying to decide whether to buy a Kindle Fire or an iPad for a small kid, I would say definitely 100% go with the iPad. Easier to use, and they'll get it a lot better, as well as have a lot more games and stuff like that to play, and I think they'll enjoy the experience a lot more. It seems like iOS just clicks with little kids. Like, little babies understand how to use iOS. I don't know how it is, but they do. And I don't think they could figure out the interface on the Kindle Fire. They'd be like, why is this thing not working right when I tap on it? So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Now it's time to see if you can win my Kindle Fire. How are you going to enter to win? All you need to do is leave a comment down below on this video. You can leave as many as you want, and also clicking the like button down there below the video does not hurt your chances at winning at all. So good luck. I hope you win my Kindle Fire. I don't really need it, seeing as how I have an iPad and I already don't use it enough. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you stay tuned for more videos, and so you'll be notified when I post those new videos. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that'll let you know when I post new ones. So you don't want to miss that, right? No, you don't. Alright, I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Fail.